Hey everybody, Brandon here. We played D&D on Sunday and we're going to play again this coming Sunday. And this last Sunday was not as fun as the first one. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't not fun. I still had a lot of fun, but I feel like it was one of these sessions that really taught me where my strengths lie and where I need to grow as a dungeon master. First off, we have our fourth player. Scoob, the Dragonborn Warlock, is officially a part of the party, and he is a ton of fun. I think his character is really interesting, and I think the other characters really enjoy him, so that's good. There aren't really any other big lessons that I learned, but more just like little ticks that I learned I have that I want to work on throughout the rest of my DMing career. For example, when Scoob joined the party, they went back into the cave and cleared out the rest of the cave and came across a bugbear. And the bugbear I had already established, as is in, I don't know if this is technically in the monster manual, but the general consensus is, right, goblins can speak in full sentences. Bugbears are a little bit more, not much, but just a little bit more intelligent than goblins, so bugbears should also be able to speak in full sentences. That is not what happened. I really wasn't feeling very well throughout the evening, and I was kind of distracted. There had been some personal stuff that had gone on throughout the week, and so when it came time for me to role play as the bugbear, I kind of did this like not really cool, not really PC like voice for him, where he only referred Clark, and he only referred to himself in third person, and he didn't really speak in full sentences, and he was kind of an idiot. And the way that I played him, while funny, it got a lot of laughs at the table. I didn't feel like was really it was kind of one of those things where it was like, oh, that's just a cheap laugh. That's not really being that creative. The funny thing that did happen with the bugbear is that Scoob cast person on charm person on the bugbear when we first encountered him, and rolled nat 20. So this bugbear wasn't even a battle. I was all worried. They did lose one of their dog companions that they acquired in the first session from the other goblins in the room, but the bugbear, who was the big boss, didn't pose any threat. He got charmed and gave everybody the information that they needed, and then he got his head cut off by Brunsor with a big great axe while he wasn't looking. Another little tick I learned I have is I also learned at the cave, and it's another one of these cheap laugh things, really not necessary, but I had the dogs. For some reason, the dogs hated the Dragonborn Warlock. They hated Scoob. But the way that I played it was like they were being racist. And that's not to say that like racism can't happen in a D&D game. There is certainly some sort of prejudice or racism that is present in the world that I'm running, but just the way that I kind of approached it was like these dogs were like hurling epithets at this dragonborn, and it would make sense that a dog doesn't like a giant lizard person. In my head, that makes sense to me, but I just didn't really like the way that I approached that. So that's lesson number 3, I guess, of it's really more like 2.5. It's just like cheap laughs and the unoriginal character introduction. And like I said, I wasn't really feeling on all that much on Sunday. I have expectations that I'm going to do better this week. But the rest of the session went pretty okay. They cleared out the cave. They went back to town. They went to Phandalin. They talked to a couple more people. And then one thing that I was proud of that I did, Brunsor now has a reputation for being the guy that fucks everything around him. And he went to this little farm where there was a halfling woman, and he was like, I'm a fucker, let me roll to persuade. And so what happened was he rolled really high, and I was like, man, I'm kind of already tired of this joke. I'm already feeling shitty about like the types of jokes and the way that I've been providing jokes. So I flipped it on him, and when his persuasion, his charisma, I forget exactly what happened, but basically this woman like looked into his eyes and saw her reflection and fell in love with herself. in a really romantic, poetic way. She declared that she was done with those self-defeating cycles that she had been living in for all her life. She declared that she was going to treat herself and her body and her son right from now on, and that played for a lot of laughs, especially because Brunsword just wanted to get laid. Nothing else of note really happened. It was a much shorter session than the last time we played, obviously, because we can't play for 7 hours every time we play. They went around town. They gathered a couple more side quests. Scoob unintentionally stumbled into the bar where the gang that's kind of been harassing the whole town is hanging out. And that led to the biggest combat encounter and the best combat encounter of the evening, I think. That was a lot of fun, even though Temerity, who is the worst rogue ever, I think she has yet to hit more than 3 times in the 2 sessions that we've played. In the effectively 10 hours that we've played, I think she's only hit 1 or 2 people. She continually fails stealth checks. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know if she just needs new dice or if her stat block needs to be re-rolled, but it's a mess. Anyway, Temerity and Brunsword weren't at the fight, so it was mostly just Scoob and Mud. And Mud really stepped up to the table, the half-orc druid, with a bunch of thunder waves and really annihilated these guys. And they got some information about where the red brands are hiding out and what they're doing. But the players at my table were joking around and having a lot of fun and laughing a lot, which is fine. I don't mind that, but the prisoner that they took, where they got all this information from, dropped a little tidbit of info that I think kind of flew over their heads. And I'm really interested to see like how that plays out now, because basically there's a Nothic hanging out at the Red Brand hideout. And if the players get there and they run into this thing, mind you, they've only fought goblins, bugbears, and humans up to this point. So they're going to see this hideous bipedal spined cycloptic creature that can speak into their minds and knows secrets about them that other people in the party don't even know. That should be a lot of fun. And that's all there really is this week. I'm really excited to play again on Sunday, although Scoob says he might not be available. We'll find out when we get there. But I even though this wasn't a session that I feel like I really excelled in, it did hammer home the point that like I love this hobby. I love Dungeons and Dragons. It is quickly rising the ranks of some of my favorite things in the world, and I can't wait to play more. And when we do, I'll be back here. See ya.